Yeah, good morning. In the previous class, we discussed one important point that verse actually exceeds the limits of poetry, but at the same time, verse as always implies poetic function. Okay, because we discussed that, okay, uh, verse is speech wholly or partially repeating the same figure of sound. Okay, so what is that figure of sound? For example, each line will follow certain number. Okay, 5 feet, 5 feet. Okay, or 4 feet or 2 feet, like that. Okay, in the matter, in a line we can find in Telugu, padalu we call. Okay, మొదటి పాదము రెండవ పాదం మూడవ పాదం, like that. Okay, in Telugu you might have studied chandasu. Okay, in that you might have studied najabaja jajara, baranaba barava. Okay, likewise. Okay, what is najabaja jajara? Na ja ba ja ja jara, najabaja jajara. Okay, what is that? Okay, actually that is 1 feet, sorry, 1 foot, that is 1 foot. These are all the feet in a line, okay. So here we can find, that means gana, not foot, they are ganalu. Okay, lagu ganam, guru ganam, lagu ganam, guru ganam. Okay, so in a line we can find likewise lagu ganam, guru ganam, lagu ganam, guru ganam. Likewise we can find certain number of combinations. Okay, so in naganam we can find 2 or 3 sounds. Okay, 2 or 3 sounds which may be arranged in that particular order. Okay, lagu guru lagu, or lagu lagu guru, or guru guru lagu, likewise. Okay, in the same manner, even in English also we can find such stress and unstress. These two, stress and unstress, in a syllable, sometimes more than 2. Okay, there may be trisyllabic word or there may be polysyllabic word. Then we can find stress, unstress, stress, unstress, some pattern we can see. Okay, here in English meter, such as trochaic meter, iambic pentameter, okay, anapest. Okay, in such meters we can find, these figures of sound, the same figures of sound. What does it mean? How many feet we have in the first line? Okay, the same pattern may be followed in the second line also. Okay, 5 feet, for example, iambic pentameter, 5 words, 5 such combinations. Okay, penta, 5. Okay, so the arrangement is iambic. Okay, so 5 feet in a line. Okay, that is the pattern in that meter. Likewise, we can say the same figure of sound may be repeating. Wholly or partially. Of course, it is not possible to completely all the time to have the complete figure of sound or the whole figure of sound as the earlier one. Okay, but at least somehow partially. Okay, నేనొక దుర్గం నాదొక స్వర్గం అన్నాడు శ్రీ. నేనొక దుర్గం నాదొక స్వర్గం. Durgam, Swargam, Argam, Gam, that is the same, both. In the both words, that Gam is the same, but the first letter is different. But still we can find these two are the same figure of sound. we can find this two or the same figure of sound because of its likeliness, partially or fully sometimes, partially or fully sometimes. Okay, in one poetry in Telugu we can find అందించిన కరములే కరములు, అందించిన కరములే కరములు, అందించిన కరములే కరములు. కరము అంటే ఏంటి? చెయ్యి, హ్యాండ్ కదా. అందించిన కరములే కరములు అంటే, కరములే కరములు అంటే వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? ఓకే, చేతులే చేతులు, చేతులే చేతులు ఏంటి? చేతి ఎవరైతే ఏ వ్యక్తి అయితే ఇతర వ్యక్తులకి సహాయం చేస్తాడో అట్టి చేతులే చేతులు అని, అట్టి చేతులే చేతులు అని. అక్కడ రైమింగ్ దోస్ టూ వర్డ్స్ సైమల్టేనియస్లీ యూస్డ్, సారీ ఇమ్మీడియట్లీ అడ్జసెంట్లీ యూస్డ్, adjacently used. Karamule, karamulu. Okay, that is whole, holy, but all the time it is not possible. Okay, nenoka durgam nadoka swargam. Okay, durgam swargam, here it is partial, but still they have the same figure of sound. Okay, dear students, likewise we can find speech holy. What is verse? How he defined, how this Hopkins defined verse is speech wholly, wholly or partially repeating the same figure of sound, repeating the same figure of sound. Okay, but he questioned, already I told you, he questioned, is all verse poetry? Is all verse poetry? Okay, so no, all verse can't be poetry. All the versified statements can't be considered as poetry. Okay, poetry has some more qualities. Poetry has some more qualities other than this versification, right? That's why we discussed that. Okay, this mnemonic lines cited by Hopkins, such as 30 days hath September. Okay, and a modern advertising jingles and versified medieval laws mentioned by Lodge, or finally Sanskrit scientific treatise in verse are strictly distinguished from true poetry, are strictly distinguished from true poetry. All these metrical texts make use of poetic function. All these metrical texts make use of poetic function without assigning to this function the coursing determining role it carries in poetry. Okay, so all these metrical texts make use of the poetic function. All these metrical texts, what we discuss now, they follow or they carry the poetic function, no doubt, but they are not poetry. They are not poetry. Okay, having poetic function is not enough. Having poetic function is not enough. Okay, so actually in the statement linguistics and poetics, he is not going to connect, he is not going to connect entirely the poetry with the linguistics, the poetry with the linguistics. He draw the attention of the scholars to study the poetic function of the poetry, the poetic function of the poetry in linguistics. In the study of language, those linguists should study even the poetic function of the poetry, as in case of other verbal behaviors. In other verbal behaviors also we can find the poetic function. Okay, but the poetic function majorly found in poetry, that's it. The poetic function majorly found in poetry, but still we can find this poetic function in other areas also, in other areas also, right? So areas in the sense other verbal behaviors, right? So this verse actually exceeds the limits of poetry. This verse exceeds the limits of poetry, exceeds the limits of poetry. So it goes, the poetic function goes beyond the poetry. That means the poetic function we can find even in the area other than this poetry, in the area other than this poetry. Okay, but at the same time, verse always implies poetic function in whatever area it is. Okay, it may be in poetry, or it may be in advertisement, or it may be in a scientific treatise in verse, Sanskrit scientific treatise in verse, or a medieval which were versified. Whatever the way we may versify, in all these versifications, we can find that this verse implies poetic function, no doubt. It implies poetic function. Okay, we can find the verse, outside of the poetry. We can find the verse outside of the poetry. It doesn't mean that, okay, outside of the poetry, verse do not fulfill or do not function the poetic function, do not perform the poetic function. We need not to think like that, and we should not think like that. Okay, because even outside of the poetry, this verse implies poetic function. This verse implies poetic function, right? So, dear students, poetics in the wider sense of the word, deals with the poetic function, not only in the poetry, but also outside of the poetry. Okay, so poetics in the wider sense of the word, okay, wider sense of the word. Okay, so most of the time, okay, we should here clearly understand poetics in the wider sense of the word, not poetry. Poetics in the wider sense of the word. Poetics is related to the word, whatever may be the composition. That is poetry, that is prose, that is advertisement, or that is any statement, whatever it may be. It is related wider sense, in the wider sense, poetics. Okay, in the wider sense of the word, we can have that wider sense towards the poetics, because the poetics is related to the word. Okay, in that wider sense of the word, poetics deals with the poetic function, not only in the poetry, that is the point, not only in the poetry, but also outside of the poetry. The poetics deals with the poetic function. Okay, from this point, you should understand, in poetics, okay, the study of literariness, or the study of poetic function, that is poetics. Okay, this poetics okay, deals with not only the poetry, but also outside of the poetry. This is the point, outside of the poetry. Okay, the reiterative figure of sound, reiterative means repeating, the repeated figure of sound, which Hopkins saw to be constitutive principle of verse, can be further specified. Okay, now we can discuss clearly. Okay, Hopkins made a statement. That is, the figure of sound, the repeated figure of sound. Okay, what is the point I told you? The repeated figure of sound. Okay, so he defined verse as speech wholly or partially repeating the same figure of sound. This is the statement. So the reiterative figure of sound, the repeating figure of sound, which Hopkins defined to be constitutive, he defined it to be constitutive principle of verse. Constitutive principle of verse. If you want to construct the verse, if you want to construct the verse lines, then the principle is the figure of sound, the reiterative figure of sound, or the repetition of the figure of sound. That is the principle. That is a principle, right? So such a figure always utilizes at least one binary contrast of the relatively high and relatively low prominence affected by the different sessions of the phonemic sequence. Okay, so such a figure always utilizes, okay, figures of speech. Remember, figures of speech, the specialized usage of the language, or the specific usage of the language, that is figure. So such a figure always utilize at least one or more than one. Okay, so such a figure always utilize at least one binary contrast. Binary means two. All the time the minimum contrast between two. Binary contrast means the minimum contrast between two, minimum difference between two. For example, black, white, red, yellow, okay, and sky, earth, okay, then dark, light, binary contrast, opposite words, two opposite words. In the same manner, okay, it utilizes, that figure utilizes at least one binary contrast of a relatively high and relatively low prominence. Okay, within one phonemic sequence, within one phonemic sound. What is phonemic sound? A complete sound, a complete utterable and meaningful sound. In one, in a sentence, we can find such different sections of phonemic sequence. Different sections of phonemic sequence. These phonemic sounds may be grouped, okay, together to form a sentence. This is fact we know. In linguistics, we studied. Okay, different phonemic units may be combined to form a sentence. In that different sections of the phonemic sequence, we can find, okay, relatively high and relatively prominence. Relatively means here comparatively. Okay, when we compare those two, one is relatively high comparing with this, and another one is relatively low comparing the high one. Okay, likewise, binary contrast of a relatively high and a relatively low prominence affected by the different sections of the phonemic sequence. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. Okay, I do not utter each sound equally. There is a variation. There is in each word, in each utterance. Okay, 30, tha. T is low prominence. T high prominence. 30 days, da high prominence. S low prominence. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. Na, ba. In the middle sounds low prominence, November. What does it mean? Within one phonemic unit, we can follow such variation. High comparatively high prominence and comparatively low prominence. Actually, we can utter only such combinations. If it is continuously high prominence, we can't utter. If it is continuously low prominent word, we can't utter. Only we can utter the combinations of low and high prominence, the combination of the syllables which have low and high prominence, right? So dear students, here we can find, okay, we can find such a figure always utilizes at least one binary contrast of a relatively high and a relatively low prominence affected by the different sections of phonemic sequence, right? So within a syllable, the more prominence, that is nuclear, that means the center. Okay, within a syllable, the more prominence, that is nuclear syllabic part, constituting the peak of the syllable. Okay, the more prominence means peak of the syllable and is opposed to the less prominence. Okay, that is marginal, non-syllabic phoneme, sometimes. So within a syllable, we can find the peak syllable and a non-syllable or marginal syllable. Okay, marginal syllabic phoneme. Okay, so the peak phoneme, the peak syllabic phoneme and marginal syllabic phoneme we can find, right? So any syllable contains a syllabic phoneme. Any syllable contains a syllabic phoneme, and the interval between two successive syllables is in some language always. In some languages, okay, the interval between two successive syllables is always present. There may be always there may be always the interval between any two syllabic words, between any two syllabic phonemes. Okay, ramya. Okay, though minor, we can feel just a small fraction of second gap between ra and ma. Ramya, Raju. Between these two words, Ramya, Raju. Okay, between these two words, we can find. For example, let me take the word. The name Gangaraju. Gangaraj. We can't utter. Gangaraj. We can't utter. Gangaraju. We will find some gap. This gap is present. This gap is present, or this interval is present in some languages always, and in others overwhelmingly carried out by marginal. Okay, sometimes in some languages, okay, that may be carried out by some other marginal gap, other marginal syllable. Okay, non-syllabic phoneme we can say. Okay, Gangaraju, that extension can bridge the gap. That extension of the sound can bridge the gap. Okay, so suppose Kirti Hasini. Okay, between these two, you are maintaining, you are extending ti, and you are beginning earlier ha. We are bridging the gap. Okay, in some languages, or in some cases of this syllabic phonemes, we can find such. Okay, overwhelmingly carried out. okay, carried out or bridged the gap. So in the so-called syllabic versification, anyhow, in the so-called syllabic versification, the number of syllables in a metrically delimited chain is a constant. Okay, in versification, in syllabic versification, okay, we will count the syllables, you know, in that syllable, already I told you, feet. There we will count the syllable. Okay, for example, naganam, naganam, jaganam, maganam. Okay, if there are three syllables, Ramani, Harita, likewise, only 3 syllables. Then we will count only three as one slot. Within that three, we will find whether it is a vowel consonant vowel or consonant vowel consonant or a vowel consonant or consonant vowel, whether we will find like that. Okay, so in the so-called syllabic versification, the number of syllables in a metrically delimited chain, okay, those syllables are limited in a chain system. Like a chain, they may follow a particular pattern. They may follow a particular pattern. Okay, so in that versification, we can say, okay, yeah, that division, that number of syllables is constant. Number of syllables is constant. That number is constant. For example, if we take one poem, if we take one poem in Telugu, okay, then it is a Lagu Guru Guru. Okay, 3 words, and again in the next 3, it should be Lagu Guru Guru. The same pattern should be followed. The same pattern should be followed throughout the line. In such a way, in the so-called syllabic versification, the number of syllables in a metrically delimited chain is a constant. Constantly they may occur. They may be composed constantly. That's why the metrical composition is not the simple thing. That's why the metrical composition is not the simple thing, right? It is a very hard thing. By following to compose the metrical poetry by following all these rules. Okay, except the varieties of the so-called verse leaves, any meter uses syllable as a unit of measure. Any meter uses the syllable as a unit of measure, at least in certain sections of the verse. Okay, they may measure syllable as a unit, one syllable as one unit, one syllable as a one unit. Syllable may be measured, number of syllables. What is the order? Vowel consonant or consonant vowel, vowel consonant vowel or consonant vowel consonant. What is the order that follows in that syllable? Okay, throughout the line that may be followed. Okay, any meter uses the syllable as a unit of measure, at least in certain sections of the verse, right? Thus, in purely accentual verse, the number of syllables in the upbeat, that is we call slack, may vary, but the downbeat, low stress or low prominence, okay, constantly contains one single syllable at the end. One single syllable at the end. Okay. So accentual verse. Okay, dear students, actually the versification is of 3 types. The versification is of 3 types. One is accentual versification. Accentual versification. What is accentual versification? If we versify based on the stress, if we versify based on the stress, that is accentual versification. Okay, if we versify based on the chronemic, that is a quantitative, or we can say timing. Okay, what timing we take, what is the timing we use? Okay, based on that we may versify. Okay, the first one is accentual, that is based on the stress. The second one is chronemic, based on the time. The third one is tonemic. The third one is tonemic, tone, that is tonemic. Based on the tone, the versification may be there. Based on the tone, the versification may be there. In fact, most of the versification is based on accentual. Most of the versification is based on accentual. Still, the rest of the two are practiced. The rest of the two were practiced or practiced. Okay, chronemic, that is timing. Tonemic, that is tone. Okay, so most accentual patterns operate primarily with the contrast of syllables with and without word stress. Most accentual patterns operate primarily with the contrast of syllables, here not the stress within the word, not the stress within the syllable. Here the syllable, one syllable may be contrasted with the another syllable. Then there may be a stress or may not be a stress. There may be a stress or may not be a stress, but we maintain that stress, or we follow that accent to make it accentual. Okay, most accentual patterns operate primarily with the contrast of syllables, Okay, so the second one, that is chronemic, we can say. In the quantitative or chronemic verse, okay, we may follow timing. Okay, we may follow timing. What is timing? Long vowel, short vowel. Hala, ela, ala. Here it is timing. Ala, that is hala, that is another. What we give the time, what time we will give to utter that sound, what time we will give to utter that sound. Is it long or is it short? Is it long or is it short? For example, in Christian songs, if there is a word deva, the same word deva may be pronounced differently. Okay, in different songs. Deva or deva. Likewise, if you observe the songs, you can find that variation. Okay, in my words you can't find. Okay, if you listen the songs in which the word deva is pronounced, or in the song how the singers may sing that word. Okay, within that two letters, they may take some gap. Deva. Okay, deva. We may create such gap between these two. We may create such a long time. We may take such long time to utter the one sound and another sound. Okay, between these two sounds, we may take some time. Okay, or sometimes we can, likewise, we can say, okay, this timing in the sense long syllable and short syllable. How we pronounce, what time we will take. That is in the quantitative words, in chronemic words, quantitative in the sense chronemic. In the quantitative or chronemic words, okay, clearly we can find such long and short syllables. Long and short syllables. These long and short syllables are mutually opposed, as more or less prominence. More or less prominence. Okay, if it is more prominence, we may stretch the sound. We may stretch the sound. Okay, we may stretch the sound. Okay, then we may utter for the long time based on the prominence. Okay, even the time taken to utter a sound is also the prominence, less prominence and high prominence, less prominence and high prominence. Okay, so in the quantitative verse, long and short syllables are mutually opposed as a more or less important, more or less prominent. Okay, so besides the accentual and the chronemic verse, there exists another versification, that is a tonic type of versification, tonic type of versification in languages. In this tonic versification, differences of syllabic intonations are used to distinguish word meanings, Okay, if it is the anger tone, okay, we may shout that you don't have any common sense, like that. Don't you have any common sense? We can shout like that in anger tone. Okay, so if you find Sri Sri words, okay, sometimes anger, sometimes rebellious, sometimes his words may be very sweet. What does it mean? The tonal variations. Okay, differences of syllabic intonations. Here we can find the difference in intonation. Okay, falling intonation and rising intonation, and sometimes falling rising intonation. Okay, so thus a metrical system of versification can be based on metrical system of versification. Okay, can be based on only on the opposition of syllabics, that is based on the opposition of syllabic peaks and slopes, highest and a low, high sound, a high pitch and a low pitch. Okay, high prominence, low prominence on the relative levels of the peaks, that is accentual. Okay, and on the relative length of the syllabic peaks, length of the syllabic peaks. Okay, this metrical versification may be based on the length of the syllabic peaks, the timing we take to utter that sound. Okay, 30 days had September, April, June, November. There is no effect. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. And falling intonation. April, June, rising intonation, falling, and again rising. Okay, April, June, and November. Okay, rising. 30 days hath September, hath falling intonation. September, rising intonation. When can we rise? If the previous one is low intonation, falling intonation. If the previous one is falling, then only the next one may be rising intonation. Okay, at a stretch we can't rise 5-6 sounds. 5-6 sounds. Okay, at least there should be one falling sound or falling intonation. Then only we can utter in a proper way. Okay, thus a metrical system of versification. Metrical system of versification. అసలు ఆ మెట్రికల్ కంపోజిషన్ ఎలా జరుగుద్ది అంటే that can be based on only on the opposition of syllabic peaks and slopes. That is based on the opposition of the opposition or the difference or distinction of the syllable peaks and low slopes, peaks and slopes, and on relative level of the peaks, relatively high and relatively low, and on the relative length of the syllable peaks, length of the syllable peaks, or entire syllable sometimes, entire syllable sometimes. Okay, so for comparison with the English meters, Raman Jakobson bring to our attention the similar Russian binary verse forms. He brought to our notice, or he is going to discuss the Russian binary verse forms. Okay, we discussed comparing Telugu. As he is a Russian man, he compared the English verse, the English meter, or the comparison with the English meters. Okay, this Raman Jakobson bring to our notice, or bring to our attention, the similar Russian binary verse forms, the similar Russian binary verse forms. Okay, that's why the structure of the verse can be very thoroughly described, okay, and interpreted in terms of unchained probabilities. The structure of the verse. Okay, if we could understand this, then we can find where what is verse. That may be in advertisements, that may be in some notices, or that may be in some other verbal behaviors. Okay, based on the structure of the verse, we can understand whether it is structure or not. Okay, the structure of the verse can be very thoroughly described, and interpreted in terms of unchained probabilities, Okay, now he is going to compare English meters. Okay, try to understand what we are going to know in the coming section. He is going to compare the English verse or English meters with the Russian binary meters, okay, or Russian binary verse forms. Okay, the Russian meters simple. Okay, comparatively we too try to understand Telugu meters also, right? So dear students, this is the topic, okay, we discussed in today's class. Okay, simply we discussed that the reiterative figure of sound is a principle of constructing verse. The reiterative figure of sound, that the repetition of the figure of sound is the principle of construction of verse, the constructive principle of verse, we can say. This principle will act, or this principle is to be followed in constructing a verse. That is the point he mentioned. Then in our discussion we discussed that there are three types of versifications. One is accentual, that is based on stress. Another one, chronomic, that is based on timing, long vowel or short vowel. Okay, what time we take to utter that sound? Long time or short time? Okay, wow, you took a long time. The same word can be uttered shortly. Wow. Okay, based on that, okay, we can versify. That's type we call chronomic or quantitative. And the third one we discussed is tonic, based on the tone, tonic. Okay, so these students, in this how, in this way, we can know the three types of versification. Actually, if you are interested, you can go further study. You can know what are those accentual versifications and how it happened and what are the examples, and how you may try to feel some poetic pleasure in that versification. Okay, but if you are truly interested, you can feel that, or else you can't. Okay, so this is what we discussed today in today's class, dear student. As it is already okay beyond the time, we shall conclude today's class. Thank you.